One thing that I am really paying attention to or noticing lately in our recording of our videos is just how generalized a lot of my responses are, and even the topics that we're bringing up. Because while grief is universal, like everyone at some point in their life will experience this, it is also so personalized that it can be really hard to give advice that reaches a larger audience, if you will.
Right.
Or if it doesn't fit for you, I don't want people to feel like they're doing it wrong.
Gotcha.
Right.
Hmm.
So it's just an interesting observation and note about how this is going, talking about this topic.
Right.
I'm just wondering how you're noticing that and what comes up for you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And this is obviously not the ideal platform for interactive, detailed conversations about almost anything, I don't think. But in this case in particular, there is that paradox of it being so personal and then also so universal. And I think that one of the things that we can talk about, though, is that there are the specific conversation of an individual's experience is going to vary. But I think that there are some overarching strategies and approaches or philosophies that I've embraced personally that have been helpful. And the first of which is to allow myself to actually feel my feelings. I grew up in a family, in a generation, in a time, whatever, where it's not that my feelings were, I wasn't never told not to have feelings, but my feelings were minimized. Like feeling certain emotions in my household wasn't as acceptable as other emotions, like
Yeah.
being joyful and happy and excited and enthusiastic. Let's go with those. But if you're sad or you're afraid, those didn't get paid very much attention. You were always told to look on the bright side, and that's something I've carried with me into my adult life. So when I was having and still have these really difficult, complicated, challenging emotions, some of which feel mutually exclusive, like understanding that you can feel joy in a moment while you're feeling sad for your circumstances. Those things can happen at the same time. I didn't understand any of that.
Yeah.
So just learning to accept that whatever emotions were arising as they were arising was a really helpful thing for me to hold on to, because when I wasn't able to do that as well, there were times I kind of felt like I was losing my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like you named a few of the factors that led to that being the case for you. I mean, it can be generational. It's definitely our society. It can be within a family system. And I think, we've talked about this before, like being a male, like you're not encouraged to express or feel your emotions as much as well. So like there can be so many factors that lead into why that specifically can be so difficult for people.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that was one of the things, and obviously I feel like I'm still at the very beginning of that road in
Mhm.
life in general. But that was the one thing, if I only had one thing to hold on to,
Mhm.
without having to do anything with my emotions or my feelings. It's not about a to-do list or an action item that you take it and you do a thing with it. It was just about saying, oh, I'm sad now, and it's okay that I'm sad, or I'm happy now. Because for me, that was the other part of this equation. I think going into my grief, I understood that there would be a fair amount of sadness and anger and the emotions that make us less comfortable. But for me, having more positive, welcome feeling emotions was really difficult, because I felt like I wasn't supposed to, that was somehow a betrayal. And still learning to accept all of that when it happens the way it happens has made the road a little bit smoother for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. That's good advice.